Hi friends, this is Christine from Hollis Hands Create, and I'm back for episode number 54. This is my channel about cross stitch and the crafts that I like to do. Occasionally I'll show some crochet and some other things, but primarily cross stitch. If you've wandered in, I hope you'll stay and find something that maybe inspires you. And if you're a return subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and spending some time with me. I hope that if you aren't subscribed, but maybe just watch, you'll actually subscribe and hit the bell to let you know when I have a new video coming out. It is February 5th. I'm a couple of days late getting my January review done. Today was just my first good day to actually have a little bit of time to sit down and do this, but we're gonna get through it. We've had some kind of crazy things going since I filmed last. I think my last video was on January 9th. And here in the Kansas City area, we had some sub-zero temperatures that lasted, I want to say it was 8 or 9 days, and where we were going below zero and never reaching at least to freezing. And our pipes held out for about 5 days, and then we finally had a burst. Same thing we had last winter. So this year we are taking more precautions. We actually had a guy come out, or 2 different companies actually come out from insulation and take a look at what's going on. And the house was built 24 years ago, so codes have changed, and sure enough, there's a lot of sealing up and areas that they can do where there's air just coming right in up in the attic and around the air conditioning ducts and things like that. So anyway, we are having the whole attic and floor between like garage and garage ceiling and second level and things like that all insulated, and they assure us that this should take care of the problem. So, fingers crossed. Shortly after that, just one moment. So then in the shop, Adam ended up with some kind of a nasty bug flu, we think, something like that. And sure enough, he gave it to me. So 1 week without, some water and some issues there. Next week sick. It was not the best start to January. I ended up actually even having to close the shop for a couple of days. So anyway, there you go. Not such a great life update, huh? You notice though I always put in some pictures of my grandkids or just some funny things that have kind of happened in the last few weeks since, I filmed prior. There was a beautiful picture of my daughters. Savannah had flown to Italy to visit with Britt and Paolo and the girls, and they almost always will take a trip, somewhere in August. I think they went to Austria and knocked around for a few days. And this time they went up to Switzerland, and so they sent some really cool pictures. So I was really loving the picture that they sent. So I actually already sent it in to Shutterfly to have pictures made for it, so I can just frame a little one. I don't get too many pictures of my grown girls together like that. So okay, let's get moving here into what you're here for, the stitching. I'm gonna start today with the giveaway winners from last episode, and they were for the Hello from Liz Matthews Vanity Sampler pillows, the Red Work Presentation Sampler. This one was from Samplers Remembered, Linda Danielson, and the Berry Fob kit from Samplers Not Forgotten. So the winners of, the Vanity Sampler pillows goes to Karen in Ohio, 1346. Again, that's Karen in Ohio, 1346. And for everyone who won something, I'll have my email address in the description box below. So if you could just shoot me an email, because I will have to get your mailing address, and I will send these right out to you. Anyway, congratulations, Karen. For the Redwork presentation sampler, the winner of this one was Darlene Dion Designs 2844. Again, that's Darlene Dion Designs 2844. Congratulations, Darlene. And last but not least was the little berry fob kit, complete kit, even the walnut shells. And this one went to Jo Marie Hogel, 1980. Jo Marie Hogel, 1980. And congratulations to everyone. I'll have a couple of things I'm going to give away this time as well, but I'm going to actually do that at the end. So let's get to stitching. If you've been following me or watching for the last few videos, words are hard today, few videos, you will have heard me talk about assignment stitching. I'm doing some assignment stitching to get through my WIPs, and I'm doing that with a group of friends, and we are having a really good time. And so I'm going to show you the balance of what I had left to do in January after I filmed last time, and then I'll show you a couple of things that I've already done in February. So first up is Plum Street Samplers Live on Little. And there's the chart design. And I am gonna have to be really careful about this, because after last time when I did my little kind of mini WIP, parade, sure enough, I got some threads put into the wrong bag and then couldn't find them, and I had to go back and open up every bag to find them, and what a mess. Anyway, here is my progress. So our first assignment was to do this border with this moon star. Now, I did the middle square of the moon. I think the line kind of cut off here. So for February, I will finish putting in the little ghosty type stars and then come down this side. But it's a beautiful border. Really pretty border. I did not iron. I'm sorry for that. I just don't iron my projects over and over. I'm kind of the belief that it flattens your stitches, and just don't. I do iron some things if I think that it kind of prohibits being able to see them well. Let's see. I'm using called for threads on that project, but I'm not seeing my project card. I don't know what I did with it. So I know it's a Victorian motto linen, and I know that it's 46 count, but I do not remember the name of the linen, and it probably doesn't matter anyway since they no longer sell linen. Okay, my next project that I had to work on, and for this one I'm using the Vicki Clayton silk conversion, and that's Kathy Barrick's Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain. There, you see that? Isn't that beautiful? I'm normally a seasonal stitcher, but when you're doing assignments, it's kind of nice. You just kind of get in and do your thing and move on to the next thing, so you don't feel like you're just stitching, all autumn in the middle of winter or the middle of spring. Anyway, here is my progress. Again, words are hard today. So, this assignment that I just completed, because I had gone right down to the edge here. I did go ahead and actually put in the outline of the house which will be the start of my February assignment. But I went over and, extended the border over, put in these bats, and did the pumpkin stack. Isn't that pretty? I love it. Again, I'm using the Vicki Clayton silks. And I am stitching this on a 40 count, oh boy, 40 count old stationery by Seraphim. So that's my progress on Lazy Bear. And the last assignment that I had to do in January was on the Teresa Kogut design. My light is causing a reflection. Dwelling Place. Now this is not really a patriotic design, but the colors kind of can be a bit patriotic, and you've got the stars in the border, but it really is pretty. Isn't it beautiful? So that is my next one, and I'll show you here. And I'm stitching this on a 40 count fabric from Atomic Ranch, and it is called Embellish. And there's my progress. So my January assignment was from about right here up. So in February, I will go up and do the top corner. I started on the right side down here, so I'm up through where the numbers are, and then this will be the next assignment, and so I will have one whole column completely done. So very happy with that. I just think it's so pretty. Isn't that pretty? We don't have assignments for this particular project, but I'm stitching with some gals that we are going to do all of these moons, and 1 1/4. And we never really said, oh, you have to finish 1 1/4. We're just saying we're going to start 1 1/4. So we started Winter Moon by Paulette. And this came out as an exclusive for a year to Country Sampler, and so I ordered the kit. And I just love it. I think it's so pretty. Of course, if you stitch anything from Paulette, you know that you got to be in for some major house building, because her designs may not be really huge, but they are dense. So basically, from the last time that I showed you, I brought the fence all the way over. So this is going to be the complete width. So you can see, I mean, this is an 18-inch cut. I don't know, maybe not. I'm not sure what the cut, because this came as a kit. Normally I would know because I cut my own, but this came in the kit. This is Saltbush. And I requested 40 count. So it's 40 count Saltbush. I'm using all the called for colors. And so, like I said, I extended the fence over to the end and added in some more of the quilt stars. And just did a little bit more, because I just need to make sure I'm touching it so that I keep some progress going throughout the first quarter, because then first day of spring, I'm going to be starting Spring Moon. So, and I don't want to get super, super behind, so that this is a real nuisance to try to finish. Okay, next up, was the beautiful North Pole Santa from Kathy Barrick. This was a new release, I think in November. It's really cool. Not a huge design. So if you want to stitch this, it's only 109 by 212. So we kind of figured out that on, 40 count, this is literally only 5 3/8 by 10. So this is not a huge design. Okay, so there's North Pole. And I will show you my progress here on my board. And I am using all of the called for threads. And I am doing it with DMCs. She has, Kathy uses almost always NPIs and then has a DMC conversion. So I chose to do the DMC. And assignment 3 was this guy right here, putting in the Santa. So first assignment was the border. Second assignment were these motifs, trees and the deer. And the third assignment was his head and beard and then this part of his coat. Now I chose to darken the coat, Santa's coat and hat. So if you look, see how they're kind of like an orangey red, and I went with a little bit more traditional, Santa color. I did not use Christmas red or anything like that. I think I did switch it to DMC 221, and the border flowers also were supposed to be the same color as the coat. I used DMC 355 on the inside one just to darken it up just a tad bit too, but not quite as dark as the 221 here. I really love this one. Let me see. I should have gotten my project cards out each time. Let's see. I am using Dixie Sampler Toasted Coconut 40 count. So it's Dixie Sampler Toasted Coconut. Love it, love it, love it. This one, I had a hard time stopping. I actually did that whole assignment, and it's not huge, but I did that whole assignment in just one evening, which, it's great because then you're freed up to, especially when you've got a short month, because February's a short month, and I'll be super busy because of market. So it was nice to have just, a quick stitch to get an assignment finished. And then on Friday nights, this was our last assignment that I've completed to this point. But on Friday nights, I joined the gals down in the holler, as we say, for Friday night in Hawk Run Hollow. And this Friday night, since new month and I needed an assignment start on shores, I pulled out my shores. The last, one Friday I didn't stitch because I just was coughing so hard and whatever. I didn't jump on the Zoom. I would have, and I was exhausted, so I kind of went to bed. But when I'm not working to get an assignment finished on shores, I am pulling out autumn at Hawk Run Hollow. So on Friday nights, you can pull out any of the Hawk Runs that you wish. And there's a Facebook group as well I think it's called Let's All Move to Hawk Run Hollow. And you can join the stitch on a Friday night if you like. So this is the block that we are finishing. And our assignment is to do, let's see, these little birds and the sun. And I am using the called for NPI silks. And there's my progress so far. So I've got the sun all outlined, and I've got his little eyes in there and eyebrows, so that on Friday night this week, I'll be able to just do fill in with the yellows that are used. Because this last Friday night, as I was trying to do, you know, the little sun rays, I ended up having to pick out like 2 or 3 of them because I was doing more chatting than I was counting. So this time it's all ready for fill in, so it's much easier to chat and just do fill in. Now this is being stitched on 40 count old gold by Fiber on a Whim, and it's just so beautiful. Really beautiful. Didn't that water turn out really stunningly? The colors are really vibrant and pop on this linen, I think. So anyway, there's yours. Okay, so that's all my assignment review. I am doing assignments for the most part Monday through Friday. And then I jumped to free time stitching, which as I explained in my last video, is going to be really trying to focus on WIPs. And a WIP that I have shown you over and over and over since I started doing Flosstube is complete. I'm beyond ecstatic. And there is my finish of the old winter. This is a primitive hair chart. Now, this is my finish. I stitched it on 30 count white flakes, which is a linen also by the Primitive Hair, and 2/2. And she had also like a little year plaque right there. I think it says like 1538 or 1539, something like that. That means nothing to me, that year. And I really thought about putting, I could have put 2024 as the date of the finish, but honestly, I started this thing in 2019, I think it was. 2018, 2019, I mean, I've had it for so long. I was like, well, I'm not going to put, you know, 18 to /24. That would make no sense either. So I just left it off. And I think he's very stately. I'll show you the top part of this printed linen. It is 30 count, so does have some, you know, look right through it. But you see the white flakes. So I've been pondering what I'm going to do for the fully finish. And I believe I may just make a big pillow out of it. Stay tuned for that. But I don't want to lose, I don't want to have the frame be so big just to try to get those flakes in there. And towards the bottom, there's hardly any flakes. So I think I'm going to make a big pillow. That's the thought right now. So stay tuned and I will show you that. And hopefully it doesn't take me 4 years to get it fully finished the way that it did to stitch it. Anyway, very excited about that. I was really just so glad to have that off of my WIP list. I will not do Mania anymore. That was a Mania start. It was my first Mania when I really did do, I think I did 30 starts, maybe even 31. I did a ton of starts that first time. I was all hepped up about joining. I won't do that again. And now I've got all these WIPs that, you know, I mean, I've finished a big chunk of them, but I'm just not going to do it. Anyway, that's beside the point. Okay, my next free time stitching, and I didn't show this one last time, but in the last 3 weeks, I've been doing more deep diving down into all of my WIPs, and this one, I almost didn't even call a WIP. It was a WIP, but it was such a minute little WIP that it really was like a new start. But I pulled it out because it's beautiful and it's not very big. It's the Eliza Hills sampler by Mary Riggs. Now, I will tell you, this is out of print. I was very fortunate to, and can you even see that? The picture on the front is not very good. But I was very fortunate to receive this in one of the estate purchases that I made. And I was really pumped up about it when I saw that it was the 1856 Eliza Hill sampler. And anyway, so I wanted to do it. It's an English reproduction. It's gorgeous. And, you know, I immediately started it. And immediately almost stopped. I don't know, a squirrel, something else got me going. And so I thought, well, you know what? It kind of is a new start, but it kind of is a WIP. And I thought, it's so small. I'm pulling this out and I'm adding it to my free time concentration. So this is 40 count neutral by Victorian Motto. And what I had started, because I always start down here in the right corner, is I had started here, did this little thing, and went here. And that's as far as I'd gone. Well, that's just crazy. So on last weekend, I believe it was, as I had all my WIPs and things out, I pulled this out. And I thought, you know what, I'm adding this in. This is 40 count. This is a fat quarter, which is 18 inches across, right? You can see this is not going to be very big. So there's absolutely no reason in the world why I should not have already have this stitched. So on that Saturday evening, I went all the way across and up. I ended up, this pattern calls for DMC, and you can see the little berries in the border. They look like little dots to y'all, I know. They look kind of like little dots to me. But that actually calls for DMC 814. And if you look at 814, it's like a really deep wine color. But yet when you look at the chart, it's more red. So I was like, well, I don't like that 814. So I did go down and I stitched one and then I changed it and I pulled out 816. So I'm still staying in that kind of that same vein. But two of the other pinks and reds that were in there, and I'll show you here on the floss ring, were here. That's a good look at it. To do the roses. And then so I thought, okay, well, you see that, but I didn't want that really deep. I mean, 814 is a really deep wine color. So I wanted it to stand out a little bit more. So I used 816. And when you look at those berries, I think it looks fine. I think it looks really good. It is a darker red, but it's a red. Excuse me, not a wine or a burgundy color. So anyway, Eliza Hills, I want to get that one done. All right. One of the next that I pulled out for some of my free time stitching was the Contented Mind sampler. Again, this is one that I've been working on forever and a day. And I just don't give it very much time. This year, it is getting a lot of time. It's a beautiful sampler, though again, one that I think the picture doesn't really do it complete justice. I'm using the called for DMCs. And this is Victorian Motto 40 count parchment, I believe. Let me get this on here real good so you can see it well. Again, I did not iron this. I'll try to stretch it so that you can see it. Okay. And the last time I showed it to you, which was about 3 weeks ago, I had done, you know, all this side. I can't see what you're seeing. I had done all this side. Holy moly. And so what I added in was this and this. And I went back in, and on these trees, I had done all of the green and I did the gold fill-in. And then I started this tree. There'll be 3 trees just like this on this side. This is a symmetrical sampler, even though, for instance, on these flowers, they're done in pink. And on these flowers, they're done in blue. But it is a symmetrical sampler. Isn't that beautiful? It's so pretty. So I was glad to get some more work done on this one. And it will continue to get some love. I want to finish it this year if I can. Now my Sunday stitch that I'm doing with Christy from Crosshatch Quilts is His Eye on the Sparrow. And actually a couple other ladies in our stitch group have made this their Sunday stitch as well. This is a behemoth. And what I was able to finish, and confession. So, you know, I'm a Chiefs fan. Got my arrowhead on. And they're in the Super Bowl. But they had to play and win 3 playoff games to get there. So that meant 3 sessions of stitching with the game on. So I will confess, I did some stitching on Sparrow, but I picked up the old Winter because that stag has all that fill-in. And if you remember when I showed it to you last, I was only around his upper shoulder. And so I could use that for fill-in and just watch the game and fill and not have to worry about counting or anything like that. So I didn't probably do as much as I should have on, you know, or should have had done on Sparrow. But I will say I did finish the tree. So the Tree of Life is done, and that makes me very happy. So next I will go on to the some of the motifs. This is being stitched with the called for, and it's primarily Gentle Arts. There's a couple of weeks. Thread colors, and I'm stitching it on 40 count affogato from Fiber on a Whim. So that tree required a lot of counting, and in the book, that tree, the chart, I think, is over 5 pages. So you have to do a lot of flipping around. Christy had the paper chart as well, so and the book. So she took the paper chart and pulled out those sheets and then basically put them all together, taped it together so she could look at the tree all in one piece, which is a genius idea, so that she could get it stitched. And my last, yes, this was my last free time stitch. Free time meaning a Saturday, Sunday. And this is my Birds of a Feather Happy Hearts sampler. Unfortunately, this one is also out of print. I love it. I love that kind of primitive folk arty style. And I worked on this last night, so I'm not going to pull this out of the Q Snap because it's going to get some work again. But since I last showed it to you, I think I just added in some more letters, and then I outlined all my blocks across here and did some fill in, added in some numbers. So not a tremendous amount of work, but progress nonetheless, and that's what we count on. Again, it got, you know, now that the old winter is done and the football games are primarily over with the exception of the Super Bowl, I'll have probably some more you know, dedicated stitching time to kind of work on some of these things that I actually have to do counting with. I try not to start anything that needs, you know, paying attention to while you're stitching whenever there's a game on, because I'm going to be watching the game and then I'm going to end up making a mistake and be irritated. I do have 2 fully finished pieces that came back from the framer that I will share with you. And one was the poinsettias and pines. And I was able to get this back. I think they did a beautiful job framing it. I have been going to the Hobby Lobby that is down by Ginger Shull. If you watch, or if you follow Ginger on Instagram, she's a beautiful, prolific stitcher. And so she has a lot of things framed, and she has some relationship with a couple of the ladies there, and they do a great job. So I've been driving. It's about a 45-minute drive for me, but it's worth it to have my needlework framed correctly and fairly inexpensively. So this is my fully finished poinsettias and pines. This is by Blue Ribbon Designs, Belinda. And it is not out of print. It is still currently available. Beautiful. And then the other one that I took down was Harriet Goddard from Hands Across the Sea. This one I did have glass put on. And I'm just going to show you the frame. You see how it kind of has like a reddish finish? We wanted that red to kind of show, but I didn't really want a red frame, so to speak. So it's kind of like a mahogany type frame. And I'm trying not to catch the ring light glare. But I stitched this because of these funky deer. I just think they're crazy looking. I really love them. So this is Harriet Goddard from Hands Across the Sea. All ready to hang onto the wall. Now that I've shown you, I will pick a place and get it hung up. So pretty, so pretty. Okay, let's move on. I had only a tiny bit of haul that I'll show you. I had ordered from Hobby House Needleworks, and I know you've seen this because I've seen it on a lot of floss tubes, but As the Crow Flies Pin Keep from Stacey Nash. This was exclusive to Hobby House Needleworks. There's the design. And let's see, this is only 89 by 142. Not really a tiny small, but you know, small enough. And all the little goodies come in the Hobby House bag. So you've got, you know, everything for your little kit. There's the finishing ribbon. I believe it's on Cosmic Platinum linen from Dames of the Needle. And there's all the week's threads. It's only 5 threads. So it was a reasonably priced little kit. I have not looked to see if they still have them, but I would imagine that they probably do. If you're interested in that one, you can go over to Hobby House Needleworks and take a look. So tiny bit of haul. I did get a couple of fabrics from Handmade at number 12. And I've already pulled them all into project bags without even thinking. I normally show the linens. If I get in some linens, I apologize for that. But I got so excited, and I had ordered 1 or 2 specifically for some projects, and they're now already dispersed. So she's on a break right now until I think the 24th of February. And but anyway, if you get a chance to take a look at some of her linens, if you haven't already seen them, go do that. Let's see, in my free time, which has not been a lot, what have I been doing? Well, I've been watching a little bit of Flosstube. My good friend Tara Sullivan, I'm sure you've heard her recommended already by, Carol and Lisa Kindred, Stitcher. She has restarted her Flosstube. You got to go watch. Tara's a hoot. She's just a lot of fun. She's from South Carolina, so she's got the best accent in the world. And she's done 2 videos. Her first one was just a short kind of intro, and her second one was just inspiration, nothing but. And she did a just great designer spotlight on Brenda Gervais, because she loves anything that Brenda puts out and has stitched a tremendous amount of it. So if you want to see that, go take a look at that, because it's just a great spotlight. And speaking of Brenda Gervais parades, Jessica, the Sweetwater Stitcher, she just did one as well. I had not really watched Jessica too much, and I saw that she had done a Brenda Gervais spotlight, so I wanted to watch that, and I watched it just in the last day, and it was really good. And she's a great floss tuber. And then you got to see Carol Saltbox WIP Parade. Wonderful inspiration. Her and her husband might crack me up. Go watch Carol if you haven't already, for her WIP Parade that just came out. I had done a call for fellow readers to, join up with me on Goodreads, and several of you did. This year, I have gotten 2 books in so far. I'm about halfway through a third and maybe a quarter way through the 4th for the year. I listened to Tom Lake by Ann Patchett, which was narrated by Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep is probably one of my top 3 favorite actresses of all time, so I was excited that she was doing the narration. Anyway, Tom Lake by Ann Patchett. I ended up purchasing it on Audible because on my Libby app through the library, it literally was going to be almost 20 weeks. There are so many people waiting for this book. It's really good. And I don't know if that's the draw because of Meryl Streep or, it was a good book. But anyway, it definitely has buzz right now. And the other one that I finished was a recommendation from my daughter Savannah, who reads just like I do, lots. And it's an Irish writer. Her name is Tana French, T-A-N-A French. She writes a lot of crime fiction. And I finished the book called The Searcher. And that was really good too. Set in Ireland. Quick little synopsis is my cat, sorry, I probably looked like I was jumping out of my seat. It's a retired detective from Chicago who decides to move to Ireland, and he can't help but get himself drawn into what he does best, being a detective. So it's a pretty good story. And so I'm following it up with another Tana French book. It's called In the Woods, and it's turning out to be pretty good as well. So that one I'm about, like I said, 25% through, because I just read that one like at lunch and sometimes in the evening before bed. And if I'm not too tired, sometimes it ends up putting me right to sleep, like I'm yawning right now. And I end up having to reread because I don't remember what I even read. So mostly at lunchtime. The other one that I am listening to, that I'm about halfway through, is The Book of Lost Friends by Lisa Wingate. And it's really good too. Set in the 1870s, right after Civil War, and then 1987. And it's one of those where one chapter is one chunk of the story, and the next chapter skips over to other characters and their chunk of the story, and you're looking for the intersection between the two. I think since I'm about halfway into it now, I'm getting to where some of the common threads are starting to pop up, and I'm curious and anxious to see what the intersection is. So that one's really good. That one I listen to when I'm working in the afternoons, cutting fabric, doing things for the shop. I pop my earbuds in and listen. Okay, let's see. The rest of my time, and probably I'll be doing less watching of some things, whatever, and reading, is market. Everybody knows market is coming up. at the end of this month. It's always the first weekend in March. So Adam and myself will be leaving Kansas City on Thursday, leap year 229, and heading for Nashville. My friend Tara Sullivan, I just mentioned Sullivan Stitches, she is going to be driving over from South Carolina, and she's going to be helping me, and it should be fun. And I promise for those of you who have requested my newsletter to actually get a newsletter done. I have been so remiss in getting a shop newsletter done, but if you're interested, I don't list pre-orders in the shop. I learned my lesson the first 2 years doing that, where you list pre-orders, people purchase, and then you get to market. And a couple of times I had, one was a linen dyer who showed up with no linen and took maybe 4 months to get linen done. And it was a real email constantly. I need my linen, I need my linen. And I felt really bad for those people who had pre-purchased. I just don't want to take people's money until I actually have the physical goods in hand ready to ship to them. So I will shop for you. If you're interested in that, just contact me through the shop. And I promise I will get some newsletters out this month. And I think that's it. The last thing I want to do is I want to set up a couple of things for a couple of more giveaways as I, dug through all of my kits and my stash. And I'm embarrassed to say, when I counted it all up, I literally had kits that I kept, 75, I believe. It was in the mid 70s. Those are kits that I kept. I have a whole bag full of kits that I'm not going to keep. Some I'm going to give away, some I'm going to de-stash because I paid enough for them that, I probably need to get a little bit of something back. But I've got some here that I'm going to give away. And if you're interested, the first one is by both of these are from Lottie Da. This one is the Summer Stitcher Needlebook Kit. And if you've never seen any of Lori's kits, they are complete, right down to the little brads that she even includes to assemble the needlebook. I'm just not a needlebook person, but if you are, you will love this. And if you really love the Summer Stitcher Needlebook Kit, please use the word summer in your comment. Make sure you're at least 18 because you'll have to give me your address. Please do not use the words giveaway or freebie or anything like that. I want to make sure that these go to someone who's truly a stitcher. And if you use those words in your comment, it gets those people who are trolling for giveaways and things like that. And then they can come in and just make a comment. And then be part of the random giveaway. So the next one is Autumn Rose. And if you are interested in this one, use the word autumn in your comment. Again, beautifully, fully kitted. And I think even in this one, she even included the pencil and everything to go with it. There's I believe I was thinking she had maybe a little notepad in here. But anyway, she has a little short pencil that you can put in for, the needle book. So there you go. So autumn, summer, if you're interested in those. One of the things I kind of want to get back to are doing some spotlights. If you've got any requests, I've done spotlights on, where I've got Just Saying, which is stitching accessories you'll instantly need. I've done lights. I've done thread winders, thread bobs. I've done, quite a few things that are the accessories that we need. Let me know if you'd like to see something, and I'll see if I can put that together. If there's a designer that you'd love to see kind of a spotlight on, throw that out. I don't know if I have stitched a lot of that particular designer, but I do have a shop, so I can pull charts. Maybe you want to see Valentine stitching. I will insert, or did have inserted, pictures at the beginning, and I do have what my trencher bowl looks like. It has a couple of stitched finishes from Valentine's themed stitches. And so you see the little vignettes that I have. You can kind of see behind me. This is an ancient one out of a Time for All Seasons book. I don't remember. It was, either Dimensions or I don't even know. I don't even remember who the needle art it was an old one. It's an old one from like the 80s, and I stitched, but I still love it. And this is a design that my daughter bought for me in a shop in Italy. So I honestly can't tell you because the whole thing was written in Italian, and I don't even know what the name of it is. And but you can pull out the graph, and the graph is the graph, and they called for DMC threads, so it worked, and I stitched it. So it's, it's up there. So, but if there's something, you want to see, let me know. And if at all possible, I can do it, I will. And I think we've covered everything. I hope everyone has an awesome February. I'm going to say go Chiefs because this next Sunday is the Super Bowl. I'm very pumped about that. Enjoy your February. Happy Valentine's coming up next week. And remember to create every day. Thank you. Bye-bye.